In this lecture, we're going to talk about character sets and collations. What is a character set? Well, when we store a string like ABC, MySQL will convert each character to its numeric representation using a character set. So a character set is a table that maps each character to a number. Now, there are various different character sets out there. Some of them only support Latin languages, the others support Asian languages, and we also have character sets that support all international languages. Let me show you. So here we can execute show char set, and in this table, we can see all character sets supported in the current version of MySQL. So, for example, we have this character set that is used for Armenian language. Here we have another character set for traditional Chinese language. Now, down below, we have this UTF-8 character set. And with this, we can store characters in pretty much all international languages. And this is the default character set used by MySQL version 5 or higher. So with the current version of MySQL, when we create a database, our database supports international languages. Now here we have this column, default collation. A collation is basically a bunch of rules that determines how the characters in a given language are sorted. For example, the default collation for UTF-8 character set is UTF-8 underline general underline CI. This CI that you see here is short for case insensitive, and that means MySQL treats lowercase and uppercase characters the same when it comes to sorting, and that's what we want most of the time. So if multiple users type their name in lowercase or uppercase characters, we want to sort them alphabetically irrespective of the uppercase and lowercase characters. So for 99.9% of the time, we really don't have to worry about changing the collation. Now next to the collation, we have this column, max length. The max length for the UTF-8 character set is 3, and that means MySQL reserves a maximum of 3 bytes for storing each character. So earlier I told you that for English language, MySQL reserves 1 byte. For Western European and Middle Eastern languages, it uses 2 bytes. And for Asian languages, it uses 3 bytes. Now here's the thing. Most of the time, you don't have to worry about changing the character set. You can stick to the default. But there are cases where you may want to change the character set to reduce your database size. Here's an example. Let's say we have a table, and in that table, we have a column. The type of this column is char of 10. As you know, we use chars for fixed length strings. So with a char column, whether we have 1 character or 10 characters, MySQL will reserve space for 10 characters. Now here's the thing. With the UTF-8 character set, the maximum number of bytes MySQL reserves for each character is 3 bytes. So if the type of our column is char of 10, MySQL will reserve 10 times 3 for each cell in this column. That is 30 bytes. Now if we have a million records in this table, MySQL is going to allocate 30 million bytes for this table. Now, what if you don't want to support international languages? Let's say you only want to support Latin languages. Here we have another character set that is Latin 1, and this is used for most Latin-based languages. And as you can see, MySQL reserves a maximum of 1 byte per character. So in this particular case, if we change the character set for this column or this table or this database, we can reduce the number of bytes MySQL will reserve on disk. So we can reduce this to 10 million bytes. Now let me show you how to change the character set. You can do it visually or using SQL. So first I'm going to show you the visual way. Here in the Navigator panel, we can right-click a database and go to Schema Inspector. On the first tab, you can see the default character set for this database is UTF-8. And here's the default collation. Again, you really don't have to worry about changing the collation. Just stick to the default. And over here, you can also see your database size that is roughly about 64 kilobytes. Now, unfortunately, we cannot change the character set at the database level visually. We'll have to use SQL. But we can change the character set at the table or column level. So let's open one of these tables in the design mode. Here we have a varchar column. Let's select that. Right below, we have these drop-down lists for selecting the character set and collation. Also, on the top here to the right, there is a chevron. Unfortunately, it's not visible in my recording window. When you click that, you can see the character set and collation for this table. Now, most of the time, you want to set the character set at the database level for consistency because you either support international languages or you don't. So let's see how we can change the character set at the database level using SQL. There are two ways. If you're creating a database, you can set the character set and collation at the time of creating a database or after creating it. So we can type create database, give our database a name like DB name. And right here, we can type character set, let's say Latin 1. We can also change the character set for an existing database. We simply have to replace create with alter. We can also change the character set at a table level. So when creating a table, let's say table 1, here we list our columns and at the end we type character set. Or if you have an existing table, we can type alter table 1 and then we change the character set. We can also set the character set for a particular column. So back to our main script, here when creating the customers table, let's say we want to set the character set for the first name column. Right after we specify the data type, we set the character set to Latin 1, and then we add all the column attributes and constraints.